Welcome back to the Joy of Yoga. This is our third Acro challenge video in this series, and if you want to learn how to do this, we're going to take you through it step by step today.
All right, so it's always fun to just get into these poses and whatnot, but it really helps you to nail these poses if you're warmed up first. So we're just going to take you through a quick stretch and whatnot, get you prepared for this pose. So let's get started. Deb is going to step onto her own mat. We're just going to stand in the middle here, taking the feet nice and wide, toes are pointing out, heels are in. We're going to sink down into a sumo squat or goddess squat here, placing the hands on the knees, shoulders are rolled back, chest is lifted. We're lowering, sinking our hips down between our knees. We want to get level. This can be really intense, especially if you don't have open hips. I don't have open hips. Deb really does though. We're all built different, that's okay. So we're just gonna sit here for a second, breathe. We can even lift up and exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, and one more time, inhale up, and really exhale down, sink in there. Hands on the knees, we can press our right arm straight and bend the left, and just switch back and forth like this, moving with your own breath, going nice and slow, feeling everything out. The groin can be a sensitive area. Beautiful. And now we're gonna just come up a little bit, take our stance a little bit wider. You can bring your palms together to keep your core nice and stable, and exhale, leaning into one side, straightening out the other foot here, and switching, getting as low as you can. As you can see, Deb's hips are a lot more open than mine, so hers looks different, and that's okay. Our back bends are different, our splits are different, our bodies are different. And one more time each side. And then coming back to center, we can take the toes in, heels out, dropping into a wide forward fold here. Optional shoulder stand if you want to take one. Walking the hands back behind your feet if that's available. Keeping the neck open and long. Now we're gonna bring our hands forward, bring our feet a little bit closer together, more hips distance. You can come into your plank to set up for your down dog. Pressing the hips and the heels back and away. Shoulders are buried into the back, neck is free. Really reaching and pressing here. You can even pedal out the feet, whatever feels good for you. And then exhale forward, bringing the knees to the floor. Slide your knees out as far as you can here, to what's comfortable. And then taking the ankles just behind the knees. So we don't want our ankles tractioning in. We want them right behind the knees. And we want to, if you're kind of pulling forward here, you want to press your hips right between the knees. So you want to look like a nice half of a box here. Deborah explained it. So we're really engaged. My bottom's not too far back, and it's not too far forward. And just sit here for a moment. Wherever you're at in your practice is great. Just keep practicing. Breathe. And then go ahead and just slide forward to come off of this nice and slow. And then you can press back into any form of child's pose that you wish, knees together or wide. Taking the fingertips really long out in front of you and stretching your bottom back towards your feet. Nice laffy taffy effect. And then inhale, slowly walking those hands up. Good, now I feel nice and warm. We're ready to get into some acro poses. So let's go ahead and bring our mats back together. So how we get started is really similar to the bird pose that we showed you in an earlier episode. But this time, since we practiced those sumo squats, they're gonna come in handy now. Deborah's gonna step her feet out a little bit wider than the mat and come into that sumo squat stance again. Now I'm gonna place the ball of my foot right on her pant seam line, just a little bit above her knee. The reason why I'm doing this and not putting my foot like this is because when she rolls to sit on my feet, my arch will catch her thigh. So I have to give them that space. So again, placing the ball of my foot right on the pant seam line, just a little bit from the knee. Flyers fingers forward. Always remember the triple Fs. We never want to interlace fingers in case we tumble. So now we're gonna do like a little, I'm gonna do like in, out, up. Okay, so we're gonna go, so as you can see, we're communicating like how are we gonna know when we're set and all that jazz. We feel good, so we're gonna go in, out, up. She's gonna roll her feet forward, letting her bottom sink back. Then she brings her feet in front of my shins and tucks her foot behind my knee, as you can see right there. And then she grips with her feet, and I bend my knees, pushing my arms straight so that way she can sink her bottom sitting up tall. And then I'm gonna straighten my legs once she's set. Now my toes are in and my feet are pulling apart, creating a tension here. So again, that's why we stretched, because now you're probably getting an extra stretch. So this is really fun here, just like with bird. You can practice swiveling the hips as a little extra challenge. You can even practice little happy baby squats here. Press back up. I always say lift people, not weights. Who needs those big boxy gyms when you have another play gym right in front of you? Awesome. So then now this takes a lot of courage for first time flyers to actually bring their hands to their base. Believe it or not, that takes a lot of like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I can't reach forward. I can't do it. They'll catch you. We're right here. We're strong. She's going to untuck her legs. Then I'm going to bend my knees. Go ahead and retuck, please. This is what it looks like if you don't let go. She can't go anywhere. So she's going to untuck. I bend my knees, keeping my arms straight and strong so she can stand up. Awesome. So now we're going to try switch and rolls here. Deb's going to base me. I love basing just as much as I love flying. I can never give either or up. Awesome. So again, I'm coming into my sumo squat here. She's placing her feet right above the knees. My fingers are going forward now. I'm used to basing, so sometimes my hands want to go out. My fingers go forward now. Feel good. In, out, up. My feet go forward. Tuck, tuck. I sink my bottom. And then I stay still. I cannot balance because I will counter her balance and will topple. I have to trust that she's got me, right? Nice. So her legs are pulling apart, creating a nice tension. Beautiful. You go for a squat. Now again, you can always practice like with the couch behind the flyer, or if you have a third person to help spot you. I'm gonna untuck, untuck. She sets me down, and ba-ba. Nice. All right, so that's kind of the easier way of getting into it, that quick little pop-up. But we can actually take what we learned in the last video, the bird pose, and transition from bird into what we just showed you, which is throne. Acro yoga, once you start to learn the basics and get used to switching weights and taking hands and feet away, you can actually start moving into a lot of fun transitions and what we call flows or washing machines. TikToks. So now coming back to my bird position, foot are on the hips, flyer's fingers forward. She always stays straight. She's not bending forward to reach for my hands. We're stable here if we want to do a quick free bird. Ba-ba, we're real stable. And then hands back. And then so now I'm going to tap which side I want her to lift. She's going to lightly lift this hip for me, which then takes the weight off of that foot so I can move it. She brings her knee to her elbow, and then I place my foot in that same position as if we were to pop into it. Then she tucks that foot around the front, hooks the foot behind my knee, grips with this leg. She's going to grip with her knee, her foot, everything to then lift this hip up. Bring that knee forward, wrap, tuck, sink the bottom, and sit up tall. Again, her bottom is sinking down. If she starts to reach her bottom up, all of a sudden that takes a lot of stable work. Yeah, sink the bottom down and chill. You just eat popcorn, watch a movie, Netflix and chill all day. Yes, awesome. Do you want to show? Okay, so actually at one. No, let's show them the. So this one's really stable. She can actually untuck one foot nice and slow and ninja. Hi-ya. Nice. And then if you want to take this a step further, if you feel really secure or if you have a spot around, we can take this to what's called mermaid. So kind of like pigeon to mermaid in yoga, she's going to rotate her knee down towards the floor as I slide my foot to the top of her thigh. Now my arch is cradling right above her knee. She's going to bend her knee and hook her foot into her elbow. And then she's going to reach back behind her head and clasp her hands. Mermaid. Beautiful. And then nice and slow. Again, I'm balancing. She's not. She's trying to stay still. She's controlling all of her movements. Retuck. Grip the hands. And then, actually, let's show them stepping back to bird. Yeah. So retuck a foot. There we go. So she's going to keep one foot tucked, really squeeze and grip into that leg that's already tucked. And then take the other leg straight back into bird. Untuck. Kick that leg straight back into bird. Free bird. And down. Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so now we're gonna really break this down. Deb is gonna base me, I'm gonna try flying, and we'll walk you through all the steps. We'll bring you back to those 5 main points that we keep talking about. They're really crucial when you're really practicing acro and getting familiar with everything. Eventually, this will all become secondhand nature. Deb and I make it look so smooth because we have been practicing for so long. A lot of the things have just become more natural to us and we don't really have to think about it. So we're gonna try from bird, right? Yeah. Cool. So again, we're gonna start from bird. This is a little bit more of a core challenge, especially for the flyer, because you are having to stay tight while lifting and shifting body parts. But my hips are forward. She has my weight. Flyer's fingers forward. She's gonna press her knees into her chest, push up through the heels as I lift my feet up and together. Shoulders rolling back and down. Again, if I'm like this is really hard. So I gotta pull up. We hit free bird. That's wonderful. If you're not there yet, that's okay. Keep the hands. So now Deb is gonna tap which hip she wants me to like tilt up for her. This isn't like a bone stacking or anything like that, or I mean, actually like tilting. I'm just lightly lifting that hip up. And then I'm gonna bring my knee to my elbow. She's gonna place her foot right on the inside of my knee. Then see how she bends her leg to help me get my foot around. If she were to keep it locked, it'd be really hard for me to wrap around, especially if somebody's not that flexible. So she bends the knee, gives my foot space. Now I'm really gonna grip into that leg, lift the other hip, bring that foot forward. She bends the knees, pushes up on the arms, and now her legs are pulling out to create that tension. Again, I'm just sinking down, staying really tall. I'm not balancing. I'm just relaxing here. No matter what she takes me through, I have to trust that she's gonna do whatever move she needs to do to keep me up here. It's all about the trust. Great lack of control, guys. You gotta have lack of control as a flyer. It's good practice. And then again, when I reach down, her hands are there. You can do it, I promise. I know it's kind of scary. But then I'm gonna untuck one leg, kick it straight back to bird, untuck the other, kick it straight back. As you can see, we're moving nice and slow, moving together. And then she can give me a little, yeah, boom. A little free bird action. And then bend the knees, keep the arms straight, set me down. So again, using all of those key points that we're telling you. Communication, we're making sure one another is set. We know what we're doing. A lot of people like to say, hey, come here, let's try this thing. And I'm like, what is this thing? A lot of people try to do that. So I like to communicate, where are we going? How are we gonna get there? We both have an understanding. We communicate with squeezes and watching each other. A lot of times I see people basing somebody and they're looking at the ceiling or like over somewhere else, and I'm like, you're flying a person. Look at the person you're flying. Communication is key. And then staying tight as the flyer. If all of a sudden I go, whoa, or I freak out, that's not gonna be good for anybody. Staying really tight. Deb has to bone stack. She has to get her knees locked out. Even though the legs are coming out of the midline now, she's still really straight. She's creating tension with her legs, which helps it to stay more stable. And balance, you gotta have a little, that's something that you will pick up the more you practice. When I first started, I would pick up a 90-pound girl and instantly drop her. Pick her up again, instantly drop her. Now I can pick up 330. It just takes practice. You will work these stabilizers that you have never used or maybe haven't used in a long time. So just keep at it, practice yoga, keep practicing acro, all those things will help you. Okay, so now we're gonna incorporate the pose that you learned in the last video with this one and one that you're gonna learn in the next video, and show you how to put these poses together into flows or TikToks. So I'm gonna lay down in my base position. Deborah's gonna come and step in front of me. We're gonna get into bird first. Again, this is stuff that you can just look forward to the more that you keep practicing. Here. That one's funny. Okay. A little wobbly, a little wobbly. I gotcha. Nice. Tuck. Display. And back first. You're crazy, girl. You don't say so. You're strong. A Wonder Woman over here. Oh, yeah. Thank you. So that was Deb's and I second time trying that little flow. If you're a little wobbly, that's okay. Really try to stick with it, especially when your body wants to fall out of it. And when you pull it back in, that's when you really build the awareness and the strength to keep progressing. Thank you so much, Deb. Again, I hope you find someone fun to play with, somebody that you can learn to trust, learn to let go of your control, surrender yourself to, because it really does take a lot of that. And then that actually starts to translate into real life as well. I've gained so much courage outside the studio with stuff in my life that I want to try that maybe I thought I wouldn't have been able to accomplish before. So I really hope that this helps you to build your courage, pushing yourself. That's great. Well, thank you as always. We love having you join us and playing along. Please subscribe and check out our links below. We're gonna have lots more challenges coming your way where we tell you exactly how to get into these poses safely. Again, anybody can do it, no matter shape, size, background, whatever. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.